After studying this module, you shall be able to describe the importance of the distribution channels in the marketing, explain the nature of the distribution channels, discuss the importance and benefits of the marketing intermediaries, elaborate the functions of the marketing intermediaries, explain the types of the distribution channels, describe the role of the intermediaries in the distribution channels in marketing, discuss the importance and the benefits of the marketing intermediaries, explain the disadvantages of the marketing intermediaries. After products are produced and priced, they may be made available to the buyers at a place they would like to buy. The distribution function is important not only for the marketing organizations but also for those desired by the people. Economists often describe the value of the distribution in the terms of ownership, place and time utility. The contribution of the marketer to the product's value is making available the product at the right time and at the right place and providing the mechanism for transferring ownership. Nature of distribution channels. To make the products available to the consumers, distribution channels can play a crucial role. A channel of distribution consists of three types of flows. Downward flow, that is when the goods flow from the producers to consumer. Upward flow, that is when the cash payments in return for the goods bought flow from the consumers to producers. Flow of marketing information in both downward and upward direction. The flow of information is upwards when it is regarding a new products, new uses of the existing products, etc. This type of information is procured from the producers and delivered to the consumers. And flow of information is in the downward direction when it engulfs feedback on the wants, suggestions, complaints, etc. Such information is gathered from the consumers or users and passed on to the producers. Benefits of the marketing intermediaries. Is the marketing intermediary the same as the distribution channel? Yes, we will use this term interchangeably in the text. An organization that produces goods might not have the expertise in the distribution, and for these reasons, marketing intermediaries come into the picture. Intermediaries bridges the gap between the producer and the consumer. The employment of the intermediaries generates greater efficiency in making goods available to the target segment. Marketing intermediaries use contacts, experience, specialization and scale of operation. Furnishes another benefit by bridging the gap between the assortment of the goods and services manufactured by the producers and those in demand from consumers. The employment of intermediaries also helps in the search processes of both buyers and sellers. The search process for the producers involves determination of the consumer's needs while customers search for certain products and services. A degree of uncertainty in both search processes can be reduced by using the channel of distribution. The figure shows how a marketing intermediary reduces the number of channels transactions. That in case of no intermediary, the manufacturer will have to directly stay in touch with each and every customer. But in case of the marketing intermediary, the manufacturer will only stay in touch with the intermediary who will in turn stay in close contact with the customer. Types of the channel of distribution. Selling through the direct channels. This is the oldest, shorter and the simple channel of distribution. This is also known as zero level or direct channel. Selling of the products takes place without involving any intermediary. The sale can be made door to door through salesman, retail store and direct mail. Few categories of the industrial and the consumer goods such as clothes, shoes, books, hosiery goods, cosmetics, household appliances, electronic goods, etc. may be sold through the direct contact. Perishable goods such as vegetable and fruits can also be sold directly. Advantages of the selling through direct channels. It is simple and fast. It is economical. The producer has full control over the distribution. Satisfy the desire to reduce the dependence on the middleman, cash sales. Disadvantage of selling through the direct channels. Non-availability of the expert services of the middleman. Large investment is required, unsuitable for the small producers. Methods of the selling through direct channels is selling goods through own retail outlets, selling goods through postal services, selling goods through courier services, selling goods against order received by telephone, email and fax is known as telemarketing. This method is used by the Asian Sky Shop. The product is delivered to the customer through the producer's own vehicles, VPP or courier. Suitability of the selling through the direct channels. Costly industrial goods such as computer, aircraft, heavy machinery, etc. Perishable goods like fruits, vegetables, eggs, butter, milk, etc. Household appliances if the customer purchases large quantities in case the number of supplier is small. Selling through indirect channel. According to this method of indirect selling, the product is passed on to the consumer through intermediaries known as wholesalers, retailers and agents. These channels may be as under. Producer sells to wholesaler, wholesaler further sells to retailer and finally it is being sold to the customer. It is regarded as one of the commonly employed channel of the distribution. It is also known as traditional or normal channel of distribution. This channel is useful for the small producers for the small means. This channel is best employed for the consumer goods. The common practice followed is that the manufacturer sells goods in the bulk to wholesalers, who sells goods to the retailers in the small quantity. Finally, the goods are sold to the consumers through retailers in pieces. The producer sells to the agent, then further to retailer and then finally consumer. The common practice in this two-level channel is that the goods are first sold to the agent who purchases in the bulk. The agent sells goods to retailer who sells goods to the consumer in pieces. This channel is suitable where the retailers are few and geographically concentrated. Textile, machinery, equipment and agricultural products are few examples where this channel can be efficiently employed. Producer to agent, agent to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer and finally to the consumer. The general tendency in this three-level channel is that the goods are sold by the producer to the agent, who sell it to the wholesaler, who sells it to the retailer, who finally sells the goods to the customer. An agent facilitates to reduce the distance between the manufacturer and the wholesaler. Some big companies who cannot directly contact the wholesaler, they can take the help of agents. Agents appointed for every region and goods are sold to them. Then the agent sells the material to the wholesaler to the retailer and in the end the retailer sells the material to the consumers. This is the longest channel of distribution. This practice is useful when the producer wants to relieve of the problem of the distribution. This channel is popularly used in the textile. Producer to retailer and to customer. Under this channel, the producer sells the goods to the retailer who sells the goods to the customer. This channel is popular with the departmental stores, chain stores and supermarkets etc. because these are large-scale retailers. Generally, ready-made garments, shoes, home appliances and automobiles are sold through this channel. For example, Vishal Mega Mart and Big Bazaar etc. Producer to consumer, then model is producer to retailer to customer, then the model is producer to wholesaler to retailer and finally to the consumer. These are the different types of the distribution channels. Functions of an intermediary. The decision to employ an intermediary in the distribution channel is dependent on the many factors, but critically it engulfs determining whether the needs of the consumer can be successfully be met by the available resources and skills of the producer. Following are the basic functions performed by an intermediary. First, transactional. The function engulfs enhancing the value of the distribution channel by bringing in the intermediary resources to establish marketing linkages and customer contacts. Under this function, either the intermediary directly undertakes the marketing and sales function or assists in the establishing buyer-seller relationship by serving as a link between the manufacturer and the retailer. Second, logistical. This function engulfs the physical distribution of the goods. It includes sorting and sorting supplies at locations which are within the reach of the ultimate consumer. The task also involves breaking up the bulk procured from the manufacturer into the small portions and may include the transportation of the smaller shipments to the intermediary or retailer further down the channel of distribution. Third, facilitating. This function is usually confused with the logistics. The facilitating function of the intermediaries supplement the entire marketing flow of the product and are distinct from the logistics. The facilitating function include financially supporting of the marketing chain, by investing in the storage capacities. They may include facilitating sales by helping the consumers buy even when he or she does not have cash through financing plans, purchase agreements, credit, etc. Shows the functions of the distribution channels. The distribution channel function have the risk-taking, financing, distribution, negotiation, matching, contact, promotion and information functions. A channel of distribution performs the work of moving goods and services from the producers to consumers. It overcomes the place, time and possession gaps that separate producers from the consumers. Marketing intermediaries perform the following important functions. Information. A distribution channel collects and analyzes the market intelligence on the current and potential customers, competitors, suppliers, regulators and on the general politician and the business environment. For example, a multinational company's Chinese distributor can potentially tap into his government's resources and provide timely information about impending regulatory changes that could prove valuable in adjusting the strategies ahead of the competition. Promotion. A channel develops marketing strategies, including preparing the marketing budget, designing the promotional and the advertising material, recruiting and selecting and training the sales representatives and organizing trade shows and other networking events. The channels can adjust their marketing efforts faster than the head office because they are closer to their customers. Contact. Distribution channels find and establish contact with the prospective buyers. For example, a computer wholesaler's job would be to find computer retailers, while a retailer's job would be to find consumers. This can be done through the promotions that pull in customers, including attracting them directly to the company's online store, and also through the old-fashioned telephonic calls and door knocking that push products to the consumers. Matching. Once the contact is made, the channel partner's job changes to the matching role, which involves tailoring the product to fit consumer needs. For example, if a retailer only wants to sell laptops with the word processing software included, the distributor needs to contact her company's nearest manufacturing facility to ensure the laptops are properly configured prior to the shipment. Negotiation. Closing the sale is the part of the channel's negotiation function. For a computer wholesaler, it could mean negotiating the price and minimum quantity levels with their retailer. For a master franchise operator, an experienced franchisee with the exclusive right in a region, it could mean negotiating the franchisee agreement with a new franchisee and providing training and mentoring services. Transportation. A distributor often transports the product from the manufacturer to the retailer and customers. For example, a potato chip distributor may have one or more delivery vans departing every day to the different retailers, chains and convenience stores to drop off their merchandise. Financing. A distribution channel partner finances his costs, including buying and storing inventory. For example, a car dealership may arrange financing through the car manufacturer or the local brands or the local banks or a combination. Risk. A distribution channel share in some of the business risks. For example, if a new product launch does not go well, the distributor may get stuck with the excess inventory. There is also the risk of the unpaid bills and the damaged inventory. Foreign distributors also bear the risk of the political and economic uncertainty in their respective countries. Selecting a distribution channel. The selection of the distribution channel depends upon the several factors: the market, the product, the producer and the competition. These factors are often interrelated. Market factors. The most important consideration in choosing a distribution channel is that the market segment that producer wants to reach. Changes in the consumer buyer behavior may influence a channel decision. For example, an increasing number of service firms are satisfying consumers' desires for convenience by providing home delivery. If the product can be marketed to more than one segment, multiple distribution channels may be required. In fact, multiple channels have become increasingly popular in the recent years. Product factors. In general, products that are complex, expensive, custom made and perishable move through the shorter distribution channels. Boeing sells its 747 jet aircraft directly to the British Airways and other commercial airlines. Each of the $100 million aircraft brings in about $25 million in the gross profits. Inexpensive and standardized products are typically sold through the longer channels. Producers factor. The producers that offer a broad product line and have the financial and marketing resources to distribute and promote their product are more likely to use a shorter channel of distribution. American Greeting Corporation, for example, bypasses wholesaling intermediaries and sell directly to some 90,000 retail outlets worldwide. It is important to understand the role of intermediaries in the contemporary distribution systems. These systems are characterized by an increased variety stemming both from the changes in the customer demand patterns, new technological possibilities, and the new organizational arrangements. The distribution system have adapted to its variety in a number of ways, through the use of the multiple channels to the consumer, through modularizing approaches, and through an increased emphasis on the postponing activities until the real demand is known. This complexity creates a range of opportunities for intermediaries, and this should be reflected in the roles they take on. The marketing concept decrees that customers should be the focal point of all decisions about the marketing mix variables. It was accepted that the organizations should only make what they could market instead of trying to market whatever they could make. This new perspective had a phenomenal impact on the channels of distribution. Suppliers, manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers were all forced to adopt a business orientation initiated by the needs and expectation of each channel member's customer. The marketing concept quickly reinforced the significance of obtaining and then applying customers' information when planning production, distribution and selling strategies. Customers' need became firmly embedded as a guide principle by which emerging markets' requirement would be satisfied. This progression from a production to the relationship orientation allowed by many new channels intermediary to emerge because they created new customer value. Intermediaries provide many utilities to the customers. The provision of the contractual efficiency, routinization, assortment or the customer confidence all create value in the channels of distribution. Role of intermediaries in the distribution channel. Intermediaries in the distribution channel perform the following roles. Contractual efficiency. One of the most basic values furnished by the intermediaries is the maximization of number of exchange relationships need to conclude the transactions. Contractual efficiency describes an aspiration shared among the channel members to move toward the point where the quantity and the quality of the exchange relationships is optimized. It is not possible for each buyer to have direct interaction with each seller. Imagine its impact on the total cost of each exchange. When only two parties participate in an exchange, the relationship is a simple dyad. With the increment in the number of channel members, exchange processes tend to become more complicated. The number of exchange relationships that can potentially develop within any channel equals where n is the number of organizations in a channel. When n is 2, only one relationship is possible. When n doubles to 4, up to 25 relationships can unfold. Increase n to 6 and the number of potential relationships leaps to 301. The number of relationships unfolding within a channel quickly becomes too large to efficiently manage when each channel members deal with all other members. Channel intermediaries are thus critical to facilitate contractual efficiency. Law of diminishing returns tend to operate as the number of intermediaries increases in the channel. At that certain point, the increment in the value is little with the increment intermediaries. Routinization. Routinization referred to means by which the transaction processes are standardized to improve the flow of goods and services through marketing channels. Routinization has several advantages for all channel participants. To commence with, as transaction processes become routine, the expectations of the exchange partners become institutionalized. Hence, it eliminates the need to negotiate on the transaction by the transaction basis. Routinization led to the specialization. It enables channel partners to concentrate their efforts on the core businesses. It clearly enables the channel participation to strengthen their relationships. Smoothing. Organizations strive to ensure that all market offerings that they produce are eventually converted into goods and services consumed by the members of their target market. The process by which this market conversion occurs is called sorting. In marketing channels, assortment is often described as smoothing function. The smoothing function relates to how raw material are converted to increasingly more refined forms until the goods are acceptable for use by ultimate consumers. The next time you purchase a soda, consider the role of intermediary played in the converting the original syrup to a conveniently consumed form. Coca-Cola ships syrup and other materials to the bottlers throughout the world. Independent bottlers carbonate and add purified water to the syrup. The product is packaged and distributed to retailers, and we buy it. That's assortment. That's what channel of distribution do. Two principal tasks are associated with the sorting functions. Categorizing. At some point in every channel, large amount of heterogeneous supplies have to be converted into smaller intermediaries. At some point in every channel, large amount of heterogeneous supplies have to be converted into smaller homogeneous categories. In performing the categorization task, the intermediaries first arrange this vast product portfolio into manageable therapeutic categories. The items within these categories are categorized further to satisfy the specific needs of the individual consumers. Breaking bulk. Producers want to produce in bulk quantities. Thus, it is necessary for the intermediaries to break homogeneous lots into smaller units. The opportunity to acquire smaller lots means smaller capital outflow are necessary at a single time. Consequently, distributors continuously break bulk to satisfy retailers' lot size requirements. Intermediaries play an immense role in creating customer confidence. This function is overlooked at most of the times. Several types of risks are associated with the exchanges in the channel of distribution, including need uncertainty, market uncertainty, and transaction uncertainty. Intermediaries craft value by reducing these risks. Need uncertainty. Need uncertainty related to all such the doubts that the seller possesses regarding whether they actually comprehend their customers' needs. Usually, neither sellers nor buyers understand exactly what is required to reach optimal level of productivity. Intermediaries act as a linkage between the sellers and the buyers. Also, they share a close relationship, both producers and users. As a result, they are well positioned to reduce the uncertainty of each. They do this by adjusting what is available with what is needed. Few organizations within any channel of distribution are able to accurately state and rank their needs. Instead, most channel members have the needs they perceive only dimly, while still other firms and persons have needs of which they are not yet aware. In channels where there is a lot of need uncertainty, intermediaries generally evolve into the specialist. The number of intermediaries then increases, while the roles they play become more complex and focused. The number of intermediaries declines as need uncertainty decreases. Market uncertainty. It depends upon the number of sources available for a product or service. Market uncertainty is difficult to manage because it often results from the uncontrollable environmental factors. If the organizations broaden their view of what marketing channels can and perhaps should do for them, they will be able to successfully reduce their market uncertainty. Transaction uncertainty. It relates to imperfect channel flow between the buyers and sellers. When considering the product flows, one typically thinks of the delivery or the distribution function. They perform a crucial role in ensuring that the goods flow smoothly through the channel. The delivery of the material frequently must be timed to coincide precisely with the use of those goods in the production process of other products or services. Transaction uncertainty becomes worse when any problem arises at any point during these channel flows. Such difficulty could arise from the legal, cultural or technological resources. When transaction uncertainty is higher, buyers attempt to secure multiple suppliers, although this option is not always available. Uncertainty within the marketing channels can often be minimized only through careful actions taken over the prolonged period of exchange. The frequency, timing and the quantities of the deliveries typify the processes involved in the matching channel function to the need for efficient resource management within the marketing channels. Channel members are often unaware of the precise delivery and handling requirement needs. By minimizing transaction uncertainty, channel intermediaries help clarify these processes. Naturally, as exchange process becomes standardized, need, market and transaction uncertainty is lessened. With the development of the exchange relationships, uncertainty tends to decrease as the exchange partners know each other better. Benefits and disadvantages of involving marketing intermediaries. Advantages of including intermediaries in the distribution channel. While selecting a distribution strategy, a marketer must enumerate what value each channel member adds to the firm's product. Customers evaluate a product value by observing many factors engulfing those that surround the product, that is, augmented product. Several surrounding features can be directly influenced by the channel members, such as customer service, delivery and availability. Consequently, for the marketer, selecting a channel partner involves a value chain in the same way the customer make purchases decision. That is, the marketer must assess the benefits received from the utilizing a channel partner versus the cost incurred for using the services. These benefits include cost saving in specialization. Members of the distribution channels are specialists in what they do and can often perform tasks better at the lower cost than the companies which do not have the distribution experience. Marketers who try to handle the various aspects of the distribution might exhaust companies' resources in learning how to distribute, as a consequence of which company might be in the state of being jack of all trades but master of none. Manufacturers can hence concentrate on producing rather than the distributing. Reduce exchange time. Not only the channel members are able to reduce the distribution cost by being experienced at what they do, they often perform their job more rapidly, resulting in the faster product delivery. For instance, consider what would happen if the grocery store received direct shipment from every manufacturer that sells product in the store. This delivery system would be chaotic as hundreds of trucks line up each day to make the deliveries, many of which would consist only of the few boxes. On the busy day, a truck may sit for hours waiting for the space so that it can unload for the products. Instead, a better distribution scheme may have the grocery store purchasing its supplies from the grocery wholesaler that has its own warehouse for handling the simultaneous shipment from the large number of suppliers. The wholesaler distributes to the store in the quantities the store needs, on the schedule that works for the store and often in a single truck. All of the speeds up the time it takes to get the product on the store's shelf. Customers want to conveniently shop for the variety. Marketers have to understand what customers want in their shopping experience. Referring back to the grocery store example, consider a world without the grocery stores and instead each marketer of the grocery product sells through their own stores. As it is now, shopping it is time consuming, but consider what would happen if the consumers had to visit multiple retailers each week to satisfy their grocery needs. Hence, the retailers within the channel of distribution serves two very important needs. First, they give the customers the product what they want by purchasing from the suppliers, termed accumulating and assorting services. And second, they make it convenient to purchase by making the products available in the single location. Retailers sell smaller quantities. Retailers facilitates the customers not only to choose from the variety of the suppliers but also allow customers to purchase in the small quantities as per their requirement. The ability of the intermediaries to purchase large quantities but to resell them in the smaller quantities referred to the bulk breaking not only make these products available to those wanting smaller quantities but reseller is able to pass along to their customer a significant portion of the cost saving gained by the purchasing in bulk. Create sales. Retailers are considered to be the forefront when it comes to the creation of demand. In many cases, they tend to perform an active selling role by employing persuasive techniques to encourage customers to purchase a marketer's product. In other cases, they integrate their advertising efforts and promotional means to encourage the sales of the product. Offer financial support. Retailers often furnish the programs which enables the customers to purchase the products conveniently. This is done by offering various financial programs that ease payment requirements. These programs include allowing customers to purchase on credit, purchase using the payment plan, delay the start of the payments and allowing the trade-in or exchange options. Provide information. Companies employing retailers for selling their product usually rely on the distributors who furnish them the information that can assist improving the product. High-level intermediaries may furnish their suppliers real-time access to the sales data engulfing information showing how the products are selling by such characteristics as geographical location, type of customer and the product location. Example, where they are located within the store, where found on the website. If is unavailability of the high level information, marketers can always seek assistance from the retailers and gain information as to how customers responding to the product. The feedback so generated can be collected either through the surveys or the interviews with the retailer's employees or by requesting the retailers allow the market to the survey consumers. Disadvantage of including intermediaries in the distribution channel. Revenue loss. The intermediaries procure the product of manufacturer at the price which is lower than the MRP. This leads to the loss of the revenue. The intermediaries would never offer their services to the manufacturer unless they are made out of the profit of the selling his product. They either make a direct payment by the manufacturer, for example, shipping cost, or as in the case of retailers by selling the product at the higher cost than the price at which the product was brought from the customer, also known as markup. If a manufacturer manages his distribution strategy all by himself, he would have made higher profit by selling directly to the customer. Loss of communication control. Along with the loss over the revenue, the manufacturer also loses the control over the message is being conveyed to the final customer. Since reseller shares the close relationship with the customer, as a result, manufacturer loses the communication link with the customer. He might exaggerate about the benefits of the product. This may lead to the miscommunication problems with end users. The only solution available with the marketer is the provision of the training to the salesperson, but on the whole, they cannot ensure full control on the final message conveyed to the customers. Loss of the product importance. The significance allotted to the manufacturer's product by the intermediaries cannot be monitored by the manufacturer. In various cases like transportation, which might lead to the delay in the delivery of the product, as a consequence, a product loses its significance in the channel and the sales suffer. Similarly, a competitor's product may enjoy the greater importance as the channel members might be getting a higher promotional incentives. Summary. Distribution channels, that is marketing channel, are very significant part of marketing mix. These channels perform various functions like matching information, transportation, etc. These channel decisions are based on the factors like market, product and the producer factors. There can broadly be two types of channel, that is direct channel and indirect channel. Both channels have their advantages and disadvantages. Intermediary play the role of contractual efficiency, routinization, smoothing, categorization. They reduce the risk of the need uncertainty, market uncertainty and transaction uncertainty. With the help of intermediaries, the cost reduces, exchange time reduces, customer want to conveniently shop for varieties taken care of. They create cells offer financial support and provide information. But there are certain negatives attached to the intermediaries. Manufacturer loss of the revenue, loss of communication control and the loss of product importance are its disadvantages.